Hey there, in today's video, I am just working on an art journal page, and I'm not talking through it. I'm just showing you my process, and I'm gonna do it in fast forward. But I wanted to let you know that some days you just don't know what to do, and I'm offering that as that's kind of like the reality. I feel like I've had jumps and starts since the beginning of the new year. So sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm making art and I'm feeling super motivated, and then other days not so much. And so I think that's just real life and how things go. So part of it is like, I don't know, that might be kind of boring to show on a video. And so I struggle with myself too, because it's like, have I showed them everything? I don't know. Anyway, today is just an art journal page. I'm putting out some paints and I'm just kind of going for it in quiet. And at the end of the video, I have a couple tips for you. So anyway, without further ado, let's get started. Today's one of those days where I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I'm just looking for a page right here that needs, I obviously collaged some papers down, and I'm just gonna paint over the top of it. I don't have a plan. I don't know if I'll get a finished piece. I just have a, kind of a limited palette, raw umber, raw sienna, muted turquoise. I like to have a little bit, blue, a green. This is a green gold. And I did put a burnt sienna out there just in case I need a hit of red or, kind of a muted red, and then some titanium white. Sometimes this is what happens when I have a hard time getting started. I already have a background, but I know I don't like it. I will just take some paint and then see what happens. So I'm not really gonna talk through this process. I am just gonna get to work and see what happens. Last week, I left about 6 or 8 paintbrushes. I can't believe I even did this. I'm terrible with my paintbrushes, but I'm not usually that bad. I left them and they completely, the paint just stuck right to them. So I have bought expensive paint cleaner in the past and done all these rigmarole, and then I decided to kind of do some research myself. Well, I found out that you can use a nail polish remover, which is, you know, relatively inexpensive, and just soak them overnight or for a few hours or whatever. I soaked them overnight, and it literally removed the paint. I will grab them over here. They are perfectly, well, you know, this one isn't great, but they're perfectly fine. They all are perfectly fine now. So what I will say is I didn't know you could do this. I would just throw them out, but because it was like 8 paintbrushes sitting there, I thought I'm going to do half of them, and then I'm going to see if it works. Then I was going to show you, which it did work. So I'm going to show you. Literally, I took a jar, I poured nail polish remover in, and I'm sure you could get, it doesn't have to be this brand, it could be whatever, I just can't imagine. And then I set them in, I mean, literally just like that, up, maybe it needs a little bit more, depending on the length of the bristles, and let it sit overnight. And I am telling you, it's a true miracle. The paintbrushes will work again. And so anyway, I'm sure you would never do that, leave your paintbrushes out, ruin them overnight. But now that I found a fairly inexpensive way to restore my paintbrushes, if that ever happens again, I won't just throw them out. I will do this first. It also worked to get some of the paint off of, and I'll show you. This palette knife obviously is well loved, but often what happens is the paint gets kind of stuck on here, and the longer I use it, then I can't get the paint off. I guess I'm kind of chipping it off now. But I set these in the nail polish remover as well, kind of, propped up, and I got most of the extra paint off the back. The problem is once the paint starts building up, then it builds up more and more and more. So anyway, if you buy expensive brushes, unlike me, I buy cheap brushes, then you would never want this to happen. And I don't know how it affects the longevity of your brush and all of that, but obviously these are well loved. They've been used a lot. If they, for some reason it ruined them, it wouldn't really matter. But anyway, that is your tip of the day. I don't know about you, but I often get artist books from the library. They are massive. Sometimes I come home with this huge stack. I can barely carry them. They're so heavy. And sometimes I get them over repeatedly because I like to look at them, the pictures, and get some inspiration and that kind of thing. So the other day I realized I could not get started. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And so as I was looking through this book on Seurat, I saw this. This was one just right inside the cover. And I thought, I'm going to do my version of it. And I had my art journal open and to a page that had a bunch of paint already laid down. I like working that way. I like working over the top of a page, not on a white flat surface. Almost always, if I can start with collage or heavy paint down, that's my preferred way to start. So then with this as my inspiration, on top of an already painted and collaged, I did this. And so there was, as you can see, there's lots of texture, lots of collage, and a lot of paint underneath. And of course, I did this in 15 minutes or 20 minutes. I didn't spend a lot of time on it. It was more to activate and get myself going. But it also is doing an image of something that I would never normally paint. So kind of an elderly man in the garden. This is not something that I'm, drawn to, but I really liked, for whatever reason, I was attracted to this. And so I thought, oh, that'll be a great way to start. So I'm showing you this as an idea for those days when you have a hard time getting started. So the other one that I did was, and as I was looking through this, it's interesting to see what you're drawn to in the moment. For some reason, these telephone poles and this very charcoal drawing or pencil drawing or whatever, no, it's Conte crayon, which is similar to charcoal. I wanted to do this one. And again, I did it on top of a heavily collaged paper in my art journal, and I did it in color. I didn't do it in black and white. I had this bold yellow, bright yellow, used that, and this is my mid-tone, and then the dark was just a charcoal pencil I believe, or maybe a Stabilo All. Anyway, obviously I'm not looking to replicate his drawing. I'm looking at it as inspiration and a place to start. So would you even, well, maybe you'd look at those as similar, but for the most part, I work in a different way, but I can take inspiration from someone else and especially and make it into my own art, particularly when I'm having a hard time getting started. So that's just a tip that I want to mention. If you're having a hard time getting started, grab an art book, go to the library, get some books, and just kind of, look through and see if something just strikes you, and then just work in your own style on creating something similar. So just a tip, just a suggestion, something that I found that is helpful for me. Thanks so much for watching. I hope that this video inspires you to pull out an art journal or a canvas or piece of paper and just get started, because I think once we're in motion, that's when nothing can happen until we're in motion. So just get started. Sometimes we tend to look at other people's work for so long that we don't ever get started, but I'm telling you, I do the same thing. But once you get in motion, then one thing leads to another. So also, I hope you like that tip on looking in an art book, getting those from your local library. They are a wealth of just inspiration in a different way. And I'm telling you, a lot of these artists, I don't really necessarily, their style isn't like mine, but I feel like there's always something we can learn from those. So anyway, let me know if you enjoyed that, and there might be other videos on that. And on my monthly newsletter, I do try to find an artist from the past, not usually a well-known artist, and generally it's a female artist, but not always. And then I tell a little bit about them, like a few sentences, and then I try to paint, or I show a picture of a painting that I did copying them. So, or using them, using one of their art pieces as inspiration, because I feel like that's a really good way to continue to develop our skills and even sometimes get out of our comfort zone with color palette and things like that. So anyway, I just want to thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time.